Kate, a brief overview for those who don't know the support that you provide.
Yeah, so we're primarily a peer support group. We're born out of unfortunate experiences that we've each had in our journeys trying to grow our families, and the experience of that being quite lonely and not wanting people to have to be alone in those challenges.
So, your gut reaction to the news this week, your first response, was this something you'd been hoping for, something you'd been expecting?
We had been asking for this since 2019, since before the previous election, and actually when Jack's Law was introduced in 2020, we highlighted that we wanted that extended below the 24-week cut-off, so we're actually really pleased. I think this is a huge step forward for us.
I mean, you've been quite open about your own experiences, and there are many parents out there going through similar or the same issues. So what's the importance, what's the relevance of having this enshrined in law, as we hope it will be?
Yeah, so I think, it is unfortunately a much more common thing than people necessarily realise. It's often something that people suffer sort of privately, and that's okay if that's the way that they choose to do that. But I think this sends a real message of recognition that, this is a real loss, this is a real bereavement. It doesn't matter what stage that loss happens, that loss can mean different things for different people, and it's important that people have the option to be able to grieve in the way that they need to.
And I imagine it's been well received by others in the network, others in the support group?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, the experiences that we hear of, a lot of people wish that they had this available to them at the time for themselves and also for their partners, because I think that's often something that has been sort of forgotten a little bit, that it's not just the person who's going through the miscarriage, it's also whoever else is around them that may also need this period of mourning and supporting their partner through the loss as well.
And you spoke then of this being a potentially lonely experience, of having to keep it yourself, go through work, put on a brave face, which many people have had to go through. Do you feel that maybe the taboo is being removed to some extent, and does speaking about this, does having it make an open subject help in this context?
I think so. I think it's validating and making it a genuine loss. I think at times people have felt that they can't bereave in the way that they feel they need to, because it's not sort of thought of as on a par with later losses or other types of losses. So it's important that people feel, that it is a real loss, and if it feels that way to them, that should be recognised.
And speaking of recognition, you've talked about the registration of children, which can be impactful for a number of reasons. So is this something that you're hoping will be the next thing to work on?
Yeah, this is one of the next steps that we would like to see, which again we have asked for in the past, that at the moment losses before 24 weeks where the baby has not shown signs of life, that baby is not recognised in law and is not offered a birth certificate or anything like that. And for families that can be very meaningful to know that their child is acknowledged as having been part of their family. The other thing that we would like to push for also is for the bereavement care pathways to be introduced formally, locally, and for workplaces to go beyond just the leave, and also look at, for example, the Miscarriage Association. They have a baby loss pledge for workplaces, which is about making it an environment where people can feel supported. One of the issues that we think will have to be thought about very carefully is how they actually put this into practice, in the sense that parents will have to present some form of identification of the fact that they have lost a baby, and obviously that can be very sensitive whether they want to share that with their workplace or not, particularly in circumstances where perhaps it wasn't a spontaneous miscarriage, where it may have been a termination. There's a sensitivity there that I think needs to be thought about very carefully, about how parents will need to present that evidence to their workplace.
Step in the right direction, but plenty of work.
Absolutely.